Same sort of themes: jealousy, heartbreak, a brilliant woman, a small man, and some undiagnosed personality disorders. I would love to call this story some version of It's the Quiet Ones You Gotta Watch. But the Andrettis weren't known to be quiet. In fact, in the neighborhood, when someone needed something celebrated, everyone just assumed Layla was already making the pot roast. Everybody knew that, if they wanted to, they could easily win the Halloween, Thanksgiving, and Christmas house decorating competition held every year. What everyone didn't know is that all of those festivities were created and organized by her. Every time a new couple moved into the neighborhood, she was the first to befriend them and help them with the competition. She may even help them win, if they ask her nice enough. If you ask her why she won't just win it herself, she'll respond, as if from out of a script. What holiday spirit would the neighborhood have if we all just focused on ourselves? Every time. I roll my eyes at the thought of it, but can't deny that she is terribly good in this role. She and Henry held together their marriage for a quarter of a century, but I doubt, with their personalities, that it was that difficult. They don't work in a traditional 9-to-5 way, but they definitely vacation as if they do. They decided not to, however, this year, because Layla is having her first child, and at this age, this could be her only chance. The neighbors already decided who's going to be responsible for what part of the celebrations, and will hear nothing of it whenever she tries to modestly decline. Though she knows already. Once childbirth began, she was already in the hospital being extra careful about, well, everything. Until she thought she felt the baby, she was fine letting friends come to her bedside. But then she didn't allow anyone but Henry. For most of the experience, things looked as though they were going swimmingly, so Henry stayed in the waiting room sometimes, at her request. She'd ask for things from the vending machines when she was feeling particular, in lieu of the hospital food. She wasn't really a sweet tooth kind of person at her age, but this, of course, was different. Then, suddenly, there were several alarms blaring, different colored scrubs in a frenzy, and all she knew at first was that they had to take the baby out, right away. Of course, she wanted to cry, wanted to pry, but until she knew just what was wrong, she decided to do some breathing exercises. As terrifying as this was, what was worse was that she was alone, and Henry was in the company of a warm nutter butter, still unaware of how quickly things had just changed. She was advised against an epidural when she was preparing for this day, but her doctors strongly suggested some anesthetic, which she trusted even less, and she eventually settled on the needle. What is clearly undeniable about her is her incredible strength. Before, after, and even during her surgery, consciousness waned in and out of her eyes. She eventually did see her husband, which gave her the strength to finally cry, until either the doctor gave another instruction or she lost consciousness again. In this state, she could hear some conversations and could have some as well, but very minimal. There were key words. When she came to, fully, hours after the surgery, she remembered very little, but there were key words. Stillborn, TOD, sickle cell. And at some point, she remembers saying, "Take her." How these words connect, what they mean to her, who she spoke to, were all details she had no access to. But her husband had a smile on his face as she felt him tighten his grip on her hand. Mrs. Andretti says what must be the head obstetrician responsible for the birth of her first child. "What happened?" she yells instinctually. Soon after, she noticed the doctor was also smiling, which calmed her some. "Mrs. Andretti, I'm Dr. Avalon. I'm here with good news." which almost brought her to completely calm. Now, just in case you were conscious enough at any point to have noticed some commotion, let me reassure you. We wanted to make sure no complications could have happened to you or your child, considering your age. Fortunately, your baby was born 5 pounds, 8 ounces, which was a little under, but still more than we feared. You have yourselves a healthy baby girl. And that was the day your mother was born.